Excuse the bumpy ride. I'm just in a situation I normally am not. Hopefully you can hear this good. I know this is terrible video production, but I just wanted to make a quick video. Just a heads up to all your preppers out there, which, I mean, it's a good thing. I don't mean to come across as like, mocking you. But I hear a lot of preppers claim how, especially now with what's going on, they're all set with food and water, et cetera, and they won't have to wait, for the handouts from the government if and when it comes down to that. And I would like to remind everybody that you'll still be in those lines if you're smart. Well, why do I say that? Well, think about it, and it's not a hard conclusion to come to. What happens when your neighbors and, people take notice that you're not in those lines? You'd be like, hey, well, why is Bill not in those lines? Or why is Bill's family not getting sick like all the rest of us from drinking unclean water? Well, and of course the answer is because you've got, food and water at home and medications and all that jazz. But the problem is once people start figuring it out, and all that takes is one, well, where do you think they're all going to come? Just like, let's be honest, we all would if we saw our 10-year-old kid dying from something. You wouldn't care any of the legitimate reasons or illegitimate reasons that you were responsible and the next person was. You wouldn't care. You would just do what you had to do. And I know that the answer's going to be quick. Well, that's what I have my guns for. And again, I get that, but, and I'm not proclaiming that I know the answers here. I'm just saying, I just think the safest and smartest thing to do is you're going to have to wait in lines just like everybody else, even though you've got the supplies to keep up. Because how many people do you think you're going to shoot? Because are you just going to have bodies stack up in front of your front door? Or, do you think that the gunfire is going to go unnoticed? It's just going to be the quickest way to draw more attention to yourself a lot quicker than, not standing in a bread line or a food line or a water line or, it's again, just some food for thought. It's not a great situation, and I usually don't post videos like this at all, but I avoid the doom and gloom. I used to be really into that stuff. I'd be like, oh my God, it's all coming down next week. And of course, all the doom and gloomers had points, and they were right in that sooner or later it's all going to come down next week. But gas prices are already hitting $10 an hour, $10 a gallon in California. Diesel's going to be even worse, which means the prices for things are going to start to go way up. And, the first things that are going to happen is the small mom and pop smaller shops are going to close, which is exactly what the elites want. Remember, they want less options for us, because if there's only one or two major stores we can shop at, guess what? That's more control. That's easier time they're going to have to implement, the mark of the beast, the cashless society, if they only have to set up the readers at one or two major stores, as opposed to tens of thousands of small businesses across America, hundreds of thousands. Don't kid yourself. That is part of the plan. Whether it gets implemented sooner or later, that's coming. It's already in other parts of the world. It just is what it is. And at first, maybe they'll give us a choice and try to say, it's convenient and it's easy and see, that's the problem. They're not wrong there. There are a lot of pros to a system like that. The problem is the only con you need is who's in control of it. The greedy, lying scumbags are devil worshippers. And that's the only con you need to want to avoid it at all costs. So anyway, I know I've kind of wandered around a lot, but yeah, point is if you're smart, you're going to be in those lines too. I mean, unless you are really in the middle of nowhere and you really, you know, can farm and produce all the stuff that you really need, you know, then you're still, I mean, there's still going to be issues, but at least then you've got a better shot. So just my thoughts. I could be wrong. Let me know if you disagree.